You're listening to Podketeers.
Welcome to episode 238 of Podketeers. In this episode, the whole team is here to talk about the latest ticket price increase. Gavin and I finally saw Mary Poppins Returns, and we give a few thoughts about the film. We also talk about what happened to some of the festivities during New Year's Eve at the parks. One of our favorite cast members was recently featured in the OC Register, and we talk about other cast members that also know how to bring the magic to guests while visiting the parks. We also discuss some of the things we're most excited about that are coming from the Disney Company in 2019. If you'd like to join the conversation and leave us your thoughts on anything that we talk about in this episode, you can leave a comment on the blog post for the episode at podketeers.com/238. You can also connect with us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and on Facebook. Just search for Podketeers. We'd love it if you took a moment to go and subscribe and follow and like and all the good stuff that comes along with going on those social networks. And if you've already done that, a big thanks to you. Speaking of thanks, a huge shout out and thanks goes out as always to the members of the FGP Squad for their help and support in making these episodes of Podketeers possible via their contributions on Patreon. For more info on how you can become one of our podcast Fairy Godparents, head over to podketeers.com/FGP. Next week, we kick off our first series, and we're starting off with Tomorrowland. We've been planning this for some time now, and we're really happy to finally be getting this off the ground. So until then, here is episode 238 of Podketeers.
Hello.
That sounds like a British accent. So much better than in the original Mary Poppins, AJ.
I try. I try.
You know, have you guys had a chance to see Mary Poppins Returns?
I saw it just a couple hours ago.
No, Governor.
Oh, no.
I know.
We fail.
I'm bad.
Sorry, I was in Houston, so...
We were in Houston. We have an excuse.
We were working on our Texas accents.
It's a big fail if Heyzen beats you to see any movie.
That's what I'm saying.
I was going to say,
Usually-
I got to see Infinity War in Hawaii. Come on.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. I'm all about the red box.
I heard that last year in Texas they got movie theaters.
Yeah, I don't know, but, you know, I had to work. I had to be behind a DJ.
I don't know about that, y'all.
Literally was DJing and then packed up and went straight to the airport.
Yep.
So there's no times to visit. We were just eating. There was no times for movies.
We ate our way through Houston.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. If you got the barbecue down in Texas, you got to get you one of them steaks.
Oh, we did. Mm-hmm. We got ourselves a tomahawk.
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
And it's like a third of the price of a tomahawk out here in California. But, yeah, anyway.
That's because they're grown locally. Because when they say grown locally, it's true.
They mean right out back.
That's right.
That's sad, but it's true. It is really true.
Mm-hmm.
So, Mary Poppins Returns, guys. You know, I've heard a lot of mixed reviews on this film, and I have got to tell you, I adored it.
Wow.
I mean, it's so different, yet the same when you're watching it. And the animation scene alone, it's just so great. You know, what they did with that scene and how they structured it, as far as how long it went. It looked like a pop-up book all at the same time. Like, there was so much about it that's just so enjoyable. There's a couple of songs in there that I didn't particularly like, that I thought were just kind of songs that were in the film. But overall, I thought the soundtrack was great. There was a couple of earworms that I find myself whistling now, you know, as the day progresses. But you know, I think a lot of people won't understand this. I may kind of isolate a large portion of our audience, especially if they're not Doctor Who fans. I equated watching Mary Poppins Returns to a Doctor's regeneration with a brand new companion.
That makes
sense.
sense.
But same person overall.
Yeah.
You know, new adventure, basically. And that's, I think, because I was able to make that connection externally, I was able to enjoy it a little bit more. But I understand why people were giving it a couple of negative reviews. But overall, man, it was so enjoyable. Gavin, what did you think?
Yeah, I thought it was good. It exceeded my expectations, which I admit were not super high. But I think Mary Poppins Returns' biggest obstacle is Mary Poppins, right? Because of the legacy, the history, the nostalgia. I hear a lot of criticism of it that this doesn't have as memorable of songs as Mary Poppins. Well, it helps that we've been singing the Mary Poppins songs for over 60 years, or almost 60 years. Of course they're familiar to us because, they've been around our whole lives. So I feel like maybe in 10 years, we'll all be whistling these songs just as much, because I thought they were really good. And I thought the performances were really good. I was actually super impressed by Lin-Manuel Miranda, who's not a good singer, but he brought it. I mean, he's done some training. Like, you can tell he's upped his game. And, and then there's a couple of cameos in there, singing and acting legends that are just amazing.
Yes.
Totally worth the ticket price just to see a couple of those.
I'm sure you can mention their names because they were all over the press tours saying it.
Well, maybe one of them I had no idea was in it. So
one of them's a surprise cameo.
Ooh.
Yeah, I don't want to say anything
spoilers.
because I want people to be surprised like I was, because I was tickled in the theater.
You sure that wasn't the neighbor next to you just tickling you?
Yeah. Okay. Well, that actually leads me to the next thing, is that the movie's not actually doing that well, compared to a lot of big Disney movies. I was in the theater with one other person, like 6 rows behind me. That was
What
it.
time did you watch the movie?
It was a 2 p.m. show Sunday afternoon.
Oh, on a
So,
Sunday?
Yeah, it was today. So it was prime movie watching time, right?
Not today. My bad.
They all went to Disneyland.
So
I know everybody was at Disneyland. That's why the parking structure.
I
Was...
guess.
Yeah.
I guess. But I mean, it's got a lot of competition. We had Skylar on our last episode, and it was awesome to hear all of his, analytics of films and his predictions. And, he talked about all of the competition that Mary Poppins Returns has in the theater right now. And there's a lot of huge movies. So it may not be a huge smash success box office wise, but I think it's good enough that it will, it'll hang on and become a beloved film that people really cling to, I think.
Yeah. What did you think of Emily Blunt as Mary Poppins overall?
Oh, fantastic. I love her anyway. And at the moment they cast her, I said, oh, it's perfect. That was the least of my worries was Emily Blunt. I was worried about everything else, and I had no worries with her, and she delivered. She was awesome.
Yeah, I was the opposite. I was most concerned about her role because,
really?
I mean, she's stepping into a very iconic role.
Sure.
Singing-wise,
and
too.
those are big shoes to fill. And, I mean, now that I've seen her in it, she just delivered on, like, every cylinder fired off in the correct way that it should have.
Yeah.
And this is a big if, okay? I'm saying if here before I say this next statement. If the original Mary Poppins never existed, this would have been her role. I think she would have established it. That's how good she was. She just owned it from the very beginning.
I can see that.
Very familiar, very different, but 120% enjoyable, at least to me.
I still like Mary Poppins better, but I did enjoy this one a lot. I will say they got one thing over Mary Poppins that they did better.
What's
And
that?
it's not even close in my estimation. And that's the costume design. The costume design in this film is epically good. It is so good. And I just thought it was incredible.
Nice.
So there are tons of reasons to go watch the film.
I've heard a lot of good things. A lot of people were saying, it's going to hit you in the feels. And to hear you guys talk like that, I mean, that's pretty cool. It's sad that it's not doing as well. Yeah, I haven't seen it, and I'm going to say, everyone should see it, but I haven't seen it, so maybe I'll see it this week. Yeah,
I mean,
You
I think that the Disney studio has had a rough streak with their live action films, right? So, like Christopher Robin, Wrinkle in Time, Nutcracker, those are the last 3 live action films that they've done, right?
Yeah.
None of them were big hits for various reasons, but I think right now people are a little hesitant to go all in on a Disney live action because it doesn't seem like they may be, they just don't have as much confidence. I loved Nutcracker. I thought it was great. I didn't see Wrinkle in Time, but I saw Christopher Robin, and I thought it was a well-made film. It just didn't do anything for me. But, I liked Nutcracker, and I liked Mary Poppins Returns quite a bit. So hopefully word will get out, and people will start, buying more tickets again to some of these live-action films. I don't recall what's next on their list from the Disney studios that's live-action, but, hopefully Mary Poppins Returns will not impede people from seeing the next one.
Yeah. I think Skylar mentioned it last week that one of the biggest things that's going against Mary Poppins Returns is the fact that Into the Spider-Verse is out right now. And the longer that it's out in theaters, the more buzz it gets.
Yeah.
And, as we are recording this, Into the Spider-Verse won the Golden Globe. So it just goes to show that it is on track to possibly even winning an Oscar, which I think in the category that it would be in has been won by Disney the last 6 years. So it's really stacking up against a lot of odds, and Sony's really being rewarded for taking the leap and doing something different, because as much as we like to see what's familiar, the studios that generally tend to do something different and do it well are the ones that get rewarded, and Sony is certainly being rewarded for Into the Spider-Verse right now.
Because it's an awesome movie.
Yeah,
it is.
Awesome's an understatement.
Yep, it deserves it.
So, if you guys have seen Mary Poppins Returns, let us know what you guys thought about it. Join the conversation over on the blog post for the episode, podketeers.com/238. You can also follow us on many of the social media outlets, including Facebook, Twitter, and on Instagram. Just search for Podketeers. That's PODKETEERS. 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 Something, 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 Podketeers. Haven't finished the song yet. Come along and sing the song, and nope, can't use that line.
Let me get on the phone to Tim Rice, see if we can get these lyrics banged out.
That would be great. If you could get Tim Rice to do that, I think that would be fantastic. So New Year's Eve, guys. AJ and BJ, we haven't had you on the show in the new year. This is your first episode back in 2019. Whoop, whoop. Happy New Year, officially on the podcast.
Happy New Year.
New Year's Eve in the park seems to have disappointed a handful of people because it looks like the winds in Santa Ana, the famous Santa Ana winds, canceled fireworks for New Year's Eve.
I'm so sad I wasn't here for that win.
Blustering.
So I've got some questions though. Do they do a special fireworks show on New Year's Eve, or is it just whatever show is going?
It's special.
They have a special show.
Do they do it at midnight?
Mm-hmm.
They do it twice.
For East.
Yeah.
East
Oh,
Coast
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Don't they do the show, the first one at California Adventure?
Huh?
I don't know.
Whoa, fireworks at California Adventure?
I thought they did something. Yeah, I thought they did something. I almost said Paradise Pier. Don't they do something now at Pixar Pier to celebrate at 9?
No.
And then they do the second showing at midnight.
It used to be just for World of Color, and that would be at midnight, like as they're counting. Actually, as they're counting down. So it's like, I want to say a few minutes before midnight, and then they would have the show.
Mm-hmm.
But
Got it.
And to be fair, Hazen, the area that you would watch it from is still called Paradise something.
Paradise Park.
Paradise
like
Park.
Paradise
Park.
Park.
There
That's
you
what
go.
it is.
Ding,
yeah.
ding, ding.
So,
4 points.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
Wait, AJ went to last year's New Year's Eve there. Was it?
Mm-hmm.
I think what happened was we saw World of Color, and then we ran over to Disneyland for the 9 o'clock, so the Eastern New Year's.
Mm-hmm.
Rang that in, watched those fireworks, and then ran back to DCA to wait for actual New Year's for California.
Ran back 3 hours later.
Well, you know what I mean? Like, we
back in
couldn't,
time.
we
I
didn't
know, it's
know
probably
how
so
bad
busy.
the crowds were. And honestly, I was expecting, of course, this was last year, I was expecting way more crowds. And it
For the fact
and it really
that
wasn't.
you were able to go into Disneyland
Yeah.
before 9 is amazing, because that's usually unheard of, especially on New Year's Eve. But DCA is always amazing with no lines for the restrooms. Like, perfect.
Restrooms.
That's
Yeah.
very
Factor.
important.
I mean, that's not just New Year's, everyone. That's just
Yeah,
fact.
that's pretty common. Yeah.
That's funny.
We've gone to the judges, though, VJ. We might have to deduct a point because, according to the Disneyland app, it's Paradise Gardens.
I was gonna say
Park.
garden.
Oh, please.
Hazen, rewind the
I
tape.
thought
You can hear
Paradise
me say
Gardens-
almost garden. I was like, good.
Yeah.
But on the Golden Zephyr, that's not golden, it says Paradise Park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought Paradise Gardens was where they have like the musical performances by the restaurants, and Paradise Park is like the stone steps in front of Ariel's
Right.
Undersea Adventure.
That's what I
Where
thought
you
too.
watch World of Color.
What does it say, Gavin?
Where we were
Yeah.
talking
What does
about.
it say, Gavin?
I mean, there's only 2 labels on the map on the Disneyland app.
Not enough
There's
space.
on the north side of the bay, it's Paradise Gardens Park, and on the south side of the bay, it's Pixar Pier. Those are the only 2 labels on the map. So I think Paradise Gardens is like a part of Paradise Gardens Park, which is the whole land, right?
Okay, all right.
That's what I'm thinking.
Then I'm gonna
It
be
has-
that Disney
deducted.
fan. I'm gonna get a petition for Paradise Park to be changed on the Golden Zephyr because
Yeah, because
Well,
they work.
That's a
I'm not losing
remnant
any
of
points.
DCA 2.0, VJ.
I will say that I feel like that end of the park has become quite convoluted in its theming. It's kind of tough to tell these days.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think anything that still says Paradise Park is just a remnant of DCA 2.0.
It could be. I mean, it's still evolving. So, I mean, the jury's still out on what that, whole corridor is going to end up being. So
Tron!
that
Yes,
would be such a
please.
clash. I would welcome it. But
Yes,
that would be
it
such a
would.
clash.
But that's okay. I mean, when you are on Pixar Pier, you look over and you see Mission Breakout. So there you go.
That's true.
So New Year's, there was a lot of disappointed people. It's really sad. I hope they were easy on the cast members working that day, because I know that there's a lot of people that, start demanding their money back for tickets and, get aggravated. And I mean, you can't control Mother Nature, right? It's
Right.
just one of those things that happens. So if you happen to be in the park, hopefully you were nice to the cast members working that day. And I mean, that's it. We'll wait till next year, right? I think they did some kind of laser show, though. They did do something.
That's what I was going to ask, if there was any sort of projection element that they did still go ahead and present.
Yeah, I'm
don't
sure they
know.
did something. They had the big TV screens with the countdowns, and Disney's not going to not do anything. So if
Right.
anything, they probably did the entire show with the music and the projections, just no fireworks.
Yeah.
So-
It was crazy windy that night.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Allergies just flared.
Oh, I know.
But
know.
kudos to Disney for addressing it hours before. Like, they sent out tweets saying that it is possible it may not happen.
Yeah.
They were tackling it down firsthand immediately.
like how windy
Just in
was
case.
windy? I mean, since
It
we weren't
looked
here, like
windy.
we saw how many
It
leaves
was
accumulated in
crazy.
our backyard, but
Yeah, it was
It
probably
looked-
the windiest day since I moved here.
Whoa.
Like, it was
I'm
It was really
sad
bad.
I missed it.
super windy.
I
There's a tiny little crack between our door and our door frame, our front door, and it was like whistling and howling through that.
Wow.
Like
Yeah.
it was windy. So I'm not surprised they canceled it at all. They canceled it for much, much less.
they fired it off, and then look, Knott's Berry Farm has a dope fireworks show.
It would have been.
There were a lot of people still doing fireworks.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And not many of them, I think, were not of the legal nature.
For California, at least.
But there was still people
They were
doing
legal
it
in Texas.
at the chagrin of everyone that didn't want their houses to catch on fire. So, thanks, people. But, I guess people do what they want to do sometimes, unfortunately. Also today was officially the first day that we were able to get back into the park. Unfortunately, we didn't get a chance to make it out. Our plans changed last minute. But when I looked at the crowds, I was almost kind of thankful that we didn't go, because the crowds looked insane
Oh, yeah.
today. And we talked a little bit about that. I know you guys went to Festival of Holidays to redeem those last few tabs that you had. Talk about the crowds and the parking today.
Well,
It was memorable.
I got off of work early enough to say like, hey, let's go, use these last 5 tabs that we have before, and we thought it was going to be ending today. So
Spoiler alert, it didn't. It
ends
doesn't
on
end
Tuesday.
today.
We have 2 more days. But yeah, when we were driving over, I need to start doing this more, but check Disneyland's tweet, or Twitter account for the parking structure, because when we were on Harbor and Catella, everybody on Catella was trying to turn right on Harbor. I was like, why is there such a crazy line?
was
I thought it was
backed
actually the convention center.
Yeah.
And then I looked at the tweet, and it said that both Mickey and Friends and Toy Story and all Disney parking was full. So the only...
Oh my God.
We were thinking, oh shoot, should we try Downtown Disney and then maybe buy something, and then just try to go into DCA and get as many tabs as we can for food? But we ended up going to which parking lot? Is it
Simba? It's
they had a Simba parking lot
behind
or
the
Pumbaa?
Disneyland Hotel.
Simba.
Oh.
Simba.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they just let everybody in for free.
They were just letting us in. We're like, yes, thank
Wow.
goodness. We got.
I didn't even know that was a
Smart.
thing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, it's generally hotel
Right.
parking
Yeah.
back there for Paradise Pier, Paradise Pier Hotel, right?
Yeah, Paradise Pier Hotel.
Or what is it called?
And then downtown
Paradise
Disney
Pier Hotel
parking too.
And downtown Disney, yeah, because it's right behind like the AMC, like right between the hotels, like the Grand and then the Paradise Pier. So if they started using that parking,
Yeah.
wow.
And it was funny, we were driving up and the cast members like, just keep going. And I said, can we go here for both theme parks and downtown Disney? Because the sign out in the front wasn't, what did it say? It said
It just said theme park.
theme
Parking.
park, but then when we went inside, it said downtown Disney only. We're like, which one is it? And the guy's it's like, I don't know. They just said let everybody in.
So come on in. We're like, we'll take it.
Like, okay.
Wow.
I guess this is a sign of things to come, right? Because today we had a notice that I think we all signed up for this months ago. We just thought, hey, there's going to be this special event. We got a message. We signed up for it. And then, like the day after, we got a message saying, oh, by the way, psych, you're not going to any special event. This was just a test. And so we were a little confused, and we thought, okay, well, they must have just been testing this whole system. And then a week ago, we started getting these alerts saying, hey, by the way, your event is in 5 days. And then another one, your event is in 3 days. Hey, by the way, your event is in 2 days. And so I started calling around, asking people, hey, is this event going on? And nobody could give me an answer. Nobody knew, because apparently, depending on what email address something comes from is how they try to determine where and when the event is happening. So I spoke to 4 different cast members over the last week. I called again this morning, and then finally I got just the answer, nope, nothing's happening. Sorry, it was just a test. But there's a purchase event going on tomorrow if you want to come spend some money. And I was like, nope. Thanks. I gotta be at work.
Wait, I'm going tomorrow. What's this purchase?
It's just a World of Disney purchase event.
Oh.
So if you're at Downtown Disney, you're an AP from like 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. or something, you get a chance to enter the store early and just buy stuff. It's like going to Costco early before everybody else when you have the business
World of Disney
card.
has rope drop.
Something like
Sounds like
that.
it.
So it's the magic money hour.
Right?
Yeah. I don't know how many other people, were confused about this event. I know that there was at least a couple of people that got in contact with us or tried to get in contact with us. And all I could think throughout the day was this special event, this ticket price increase? Because if it was, that's a horrible surprise.
Terrible coincidence.
I mean, the ticket price increase, not a surprise,
No.
right? I think we've already talked about it, that Disney's been pretty persistent on increasing the ticket prices. I think what's most surprising is that the Signature Plus is going up 23%.
Another $250.
Was it?
It's about a $300 increase
wow.
this time around.
Oh, I thought it didn't go up that much. It seemed like it was about the same price to me.
No, that one's been the one that hasn't had that significant of an increase before. The least expensive one, I think, got an 8% increase overall, but not a lot of people have that one.
Wait, which one is that? Is that the?
How much was the Signature Plus? Because I thought it was at least $1,200 or $1,300 already.
I thought it was 12. I think we're gonna have to get some Southern California Select passes.
No.
How much is a Southern California Select? That's gonna be $1,200. Well, I'm sorry, what?
Can I get the 8 a.m. till 1 p.m. pass?
How did they started doing half-day passes? That'd be crazy.
Disney World used to do the after 4 p.m. pass for Epcot.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I thought they had that here at some point too.
I don't remember for Disneyland.
I know they've done that at the expo where you can buy like just a reduced price ticket to go to the park after the expo. That's the only time I've seen it though.
How about that Costco DCA pass? Is that still a thing?
I don't think that's a thing anymore.
So it was
Thing
just
of
a
the
one and
past.
done?
Probably. It seemed like it was only like a season when they were really trying to funnel people into DCA. Because they were trying to use that as a test to funnel
Right.
traffic out of Disneyland.
Yeah.
But the prices, so here's the breakdown. The SoCal Select went up from $369 to $399. The Deluxe went up from $729 to $799. The Signature went up from $999 to $1149. The Signature Plus went up from $1149 to $1399. And the Premier went from $1579 to $1949.
That's the passport for both Walt Disney World and Disneyland, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
But
the Premier,
no-
yeah, the one that lets you into
No
both
monthly.
coasts.
You can't do monthly payments on that one, right? Okay.
Not on that one, no. And then parking went up from $20 to $25. Max Pass went up from $10 to $15.
How much is that
And,
for the year? It went up for the year too, right?
Is
Yeah,
it
it did.
75 to 100? now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
So,
so
I
worth
mean,
it, though.
It is.
it was, I got to tell you though, it is funny, you know, amongst all of the tweets that you normally see, Disney, you know, why are you doing this? Why are you raising this? I'm going to cancel my pass. And then those same people end up in the park like
Exactly.
the next weekend.
Sure.
It was funny to see that there was also some people for the increase because they know that Disney's doing it to try to funnel people out of the parks
It's not going to happen though.
and just try to distill the people that come in. That's true. They're not going to, it's not going to prevent people from coming. I think it is really getting to that point where it's pricing out a lot more people.
Yeah.
Because even a 1 day, I mean, right now I think they have like a 3-day deal going on for Southern California. But overall, it is becoming more and more expensive to even do a 1 or 2 day trip to the parks if you do like Disneyland 1 day, California Adventure the next day. And then they give you these deals for 3 days. And so now you have to extend your hotel stay an extra day because, well, you got 3 days in the parks, you know, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens next year, especially once Galaxy's Edge is finally open. This has been one of the biggest jumps that they've had, especially for the higher tier passes. And keep in mind that we're still not allowed, like we don't have the top tier, but we're still not allowed like the last 2 weeks of December, you know,
Right.
so it gets super pricey. And when, you know, you're paying for a family of 4, you know, you have to start reevaluating, should we all have passes?
Well, at least
Yeah, that's
somebody
tough.
needs a parking
I mean,
one. One high, one
Yeah.
low parking.
Definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. You know, I think the biggest issue is that it's a supply and demand problem, right? And as long as the demand is as high as it is, those prices are just going to keep going up. And the issue with crowdedness in the parks, if that's a word, I don't know if it is, but I'm using it, is that the annual passport is becoming more popular at a much faster rate than it's pricing people out. You know, like so many more people are buying annual passes now than used to. And it's just getting more and more. And I think that it's a problem that's going to last a while. You know, there's going to have to be a long regular occurrence of the park reaching capacity, turning away guests, for people to start to not buy it as frequently. But as of now, when you can buy it and you can on a whim go whenever the heck you want, especially those top 2 tiers, you know, there's enough people in the Southern California area, and even that travel out here frequently, like I did when I lived in Oklahoma. I came out 3-4 times a year, and it was cost efficient for me to have an annual pass. You know, so I think it's going to have to get to that point where it's terrible for it to go back and people, not as many people buy the passes. I think that's the only way I can see it ever kind of correcting back to a normal, quote unquote, normal crowd level.
Yeah,
I concur.
I agree with you. And I mean, like you said, I'm not shocked. Yeah, I do see people getting more, getting their passes and some upgrading. I do feel bad for certain passes because they are going to be blocked out during the summer. Having to be blocked out for Christmas, I mean, it's not the same thing. But, I mean, Disney, they know what they're doing. They do. And we'll just see how everything rolls out.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one thing they've done right is, with their daily pricing structure, they have done a really good job of evening out the crowds throughout the year. So there's not an insane peak season except for Christmas, and there's not an insane valley. So they have kind of spread the crowds out throughout the year, which is nice. And the thing about the individual park blockouts next year is not many of the passes are blocked out of both parks for like a huge chunk of time like they currently are. Most of the passes, they could at least go to DCA for most of the summer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's not a total loss. Everybody's going to have to make their own financial decision and find out what is worth it for them. And, I am fortunate enough that I can stay at the level I am, and that's my plan. Mine renews in April. I don't know if any of you guys have to renew sooner than that, but
No.
That's about the time we have to renew.
I already know I'm pulling the trigger on that. So, if it goes up another 250 next year, then I might have to start evaluating some of the other passes.
I'm going to have to start saving up.
But I'm also playing the lottery every week, so when I win,
so you're buying
we
all our
all
passes.
get premier
Gotcha.
passes, okay?
Yeah.
All of
Nice.
us. We
I
get
will
premier
love you
passes.
even more.
And my first flight to Disney
every year.
World.
Yeah.
I think I heard that.
Absolutely. It's on air.
Heard it here
recorded.
first, guys. Heard it here first. Yeah, when you were talking about they still have the option to go to DCA, that's great, but what happens when the Marvel-themed area opens? Does that option go away? Because now you have additional themed areas that, you can go to? The addition of Galaxy's Edge is adding 14 acres to Disneyland, and 14 acres is a lot of people that you can cram into the park. Right now, I mean, Disneyland doesn't release official numbers, but over time, it's been kind of established that the most people you can kind of have inside of Disneyland is about 80,000 people. Mm-hmm. That's when they tend to reach capacity. And so, what is capacity going to change to once Galaxy's Edge opens with the additional 14 acres? And, one thing that I've talked to other people about, as this whole Galaxy's Edge thing has come to be, is that Disney fans, before all of the intellectual property purchases, there was just Disney fans. All these different fandoms existed on their own. Marvel fandom, Star Wars fandom, Disney fandom. They existed in their own little buckets. But now that Disney owns it, all of a sudden, all those other fandoms are all technically Disney fans as well. Whether they like it or not, they are Disney fans as well. And Star Wars fans that want to be a part of something bigger and want to be a part of the world have had the opportunity to do stuff like the Scum and Villainy pop-up that came up in Hollywood, when you can go to the cantina and, have some drinks in like a Star Wars themed area. But where else are you going to get this Star Wars themed experience going forward? If you're the hardcore fan and you've never in your life shelled out money to go to Disneyland or never wanted to buy an annual pass, guess what? You probably will now. And that's a game changer, for Disney, because now they have this whole other line of profit that they didn't have before. But at the same time, you mentioned earlier, oh, we might get to these levels that are normal. Honestly, dude, I don't think we're ever going to get to quote unquote normal levels in the park again.
Yeah, not unless it rains.
Even when it
Not
rains.
even
And even
it doesn't
then.
even clear out anymore.
Well,
Yeah.
maybe if we get a good storm.
Hoping for bad weather in 2019.
I didn't say that.
That's
El
hilarious.
Nino lives.
No, I think you're right, man. It's going to bring in huge crowds. I still have that probably foolhardy hope that because all the talk for the last 2 years and all the way up until June is going to be about how scary the crowds are going to be, that hopefully it will scare people away from showing up and it won't be that bad. But I'm sure I'm going to be dead wrong.
We'll be there, Gavin. We're going to be there.
Yeah.
It's a given.
I love that you're so plucky-go-lucky about that.
That's okay. You just hit the people with your lightsaber. Clear it out. Just
All
clear
right.
it.
Get out of the way.
That'll guarantee that you can't go any further.
Everybody else is going to have it there at Galaxy's Edge.
True.
Or at least you could clear out the little 7-year-olds. Out of the way, kid.
Yeah.
Gotta get my churro.
And look, I just want to make clear, I'm not complaining about this whole thing, all right? I do plan on continuing going. I am a Disney fan, and I know we might have to, eventually change our plans on our APs to something lower if it does get too costly for the 4 of us. But as it stands right now, we, just like you, Gavin, we're going to try to continue on what we have and then just kind of reevaluate when it comes up again and then figure out what we're going to do about our renewals. But I know that there's a lot of people that are at the point where they just can't afford it. They can't afford the increase monthly and might stick with a lower pass, or might just say, I'm going to skip out this year and save up some money and get it next year. Or start hopping to other parks.
Right.
I mean, Knott's Berry Farm, Universal, they have some amazing deals right now on their annual passes. And considering how popular things like the Wizarding World of Harry Potter are, there are a lot of people that are into both fandoms that might want to save on Disneyland and then just spend a third of that or a quarter even and just go to Universal for the next year, while they try to save some money or something. I don't know.
That's true, too, what you're saying, Hazen, because, Universal's going to be getting Super Mario Land, too, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
Yeah.
right.
Where?
that's cool.
Backlot.
Somewhere there.
The
I
back
don't know.
But they are.
Universal
You're going to take one of
Hollywood or
those
Universal
tunnels or
Florida?
the tubes and go, and then end up there.
Oh my God, that would be amazing.
Nice.
And then you got to step on a Goomba.
You're like squatting on a
Well,
pipe.
isn't...
I'm not going anywhere. What's going on?
And I don't know if this is happening here in Hollywood, but I know for a fact that in Florida, people aren't really talking about it, but the Wizarding World is also getting another roller coaster or another attraction. I think it's like a roller coaster where you're going through a forest and you're seeing a lot of the creatures from the Harry Potter universe.
That
I
sounds
thought they
cool.
were replacing the roller coaster one. I can't fly to the
I
hippogriff or
thought
whatever.
they were expanding to a new
Oh,
one.
maybe.
They were adding to
They don't
it.
keep up with Universal enough.
That's really Gadget's Go
Well,
coaster.
that's what I'm saying,
but
You're not wrong.
don't blink, but you'll miss it.
But see, that's the thing. Whether they're replacing or whether they're adding to the Wizarding World, it's still buzz that people are going to want to go ride it, and it's going to pull away from the people that would have normally come to ride the Incredicoaster, for instance. So we'll see what happens. So stay tuned. All right. Well, before we continue, I would like to remind you that this episode of Podketeers is brought to you in part by the contributions that we receive from our podcast, Fairy Godparents, via Patreon. If you like what we're doing here and would like to help us out with a monthly or even one-time contribution, you can become part of the FGP Squad for as little as $1 per month. But for a contribution of at least $5 monthly, you also get the exclusive Fairy Godparent button as a thank you for your support. Go to podketeers.com/FGP for more info, and when you're ready, click on the Join the Squad button on that page. To all of the members of the FGP Squad, as always, thank you for your help and support. So let's shift the conversation over to an article that I recently read. There's a handful of cast members that, are very memorable. They love what they do, and they just make being in the park just a little more magical. If you're not familiar, there is a gentleman at the Tiki Room, sometimes at Haunted Mansion. Sometimes he's doing guest services with that cool little lit up wand, making people walk through sidewalks or the streets. And his name is Maynard. And if you've ever had the pleasure of listening to Maynard perform for you before the Enchanted Tiki Room, or before you go down into the stretching room in the foyer at the Haunted Mansion, it is one of the most wonderful things you can experience, because it just adds to the magic of being on those attractions. And this last week, Maynard was featured in the OC Register, and I just thought it was super cool. There's this lineage of cast members that I think they're granted this life of their own, in the ethos of Disney, like Oscar. Down at Carnation Cafe, Oscar was such a beloved person. Even now that he's not there, when people see him around the parks, he's a superstar.
Yeah.
Right? So, who are some of the other cast members that have, made a moment for you guys magical as well?
Gosh. Well, Moses,
Oh, yeah.
who worked at the Plaza Inn. I'm not too sure if he's there.
He's not there anymore.
He's not?
It's been over a year now.
He retired?
Yeah, he retired.
Aw, well,
I
good
know,
for him.
sad.
He was an awesome guy. I've never seen someone take a full restaurant inside, get everyone singing "It's a Small World" and "Happy Birthday" to one person.
Mm-hmm.
This is Disney magic that we had seen, and I tried to find video. I couldn't find it. But this guy, he was just so warm, and everything you look for, in a cast member. I don't know if I can say this, but he knew his 4 keys.
Yeah.
And if anyone is a cast member, you know what those 4 keys are. He excelled in all of them. So he was someone who was just like, man, next time I hope I see him again, because he just made my day, or evening, because it was night. But yeah, Moses was amazing.
And
he's definitely one of them.
You forgot to mention he plays a mad harmonica.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Thank you.
Nice.
He always
yes.
has
That's
his
him?
harmonica.
And he gave out
I had
every
only
single
heard
button
about the
that they
mystical
had.
harmonica at Plaza.
Yeah.
He was so cool. He
That's
was so
cool.
good.
I don't think I've ever seen
Oh,
that guy.
man.
I'm sure we will find some. I think we actually have him in one of our vlogs. I have to see if I could find it.
It
I don't know
sounds
which
familiar. Like, I think we have it on video.
Oh, if you guys do, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
That's so cool. AJ and VJ, what about you guys? Who are, some cast members that you guys have encountered?
Grandma Pat.
Because you guys have visited so many other resorts.
I know, I know.
That you experience kind of across
Yeah,
resorts,
AJ
too.
definitely has a favorite at the Grand Floridian.
Yes, his name's Richard, and he actually just passed away. Was it like in November?
Yeah.
Yeah, just a couple of months ago.
He
Yeah,
was the best cast member. Amazing. I first met him in 2012, and he was
Wow.
at the Grand Floridian as a door greeter for 26 years. After his wife passed
Wow.
away. So sweet. After his wife passed away, he had this calling to go to Disney World. And so he moved down there, and then he just walked into the casting building, and they're like, here's this number. And he got hired at the Grand Floridian.
No interview, no nothing. He just got hired.
Wow.
It's like
That's awesome.
Whoa.
Meant to be.
like a
Yep.
fairy tale, right? And so every time we would go, we'd always want to see Richard. And he would just always talk to you, so nice, so friendly. And he got, have we shared this before on the podcast?
I don't think
No.
so.
I don't think so.
Share.
Okay, well, I'm going to share again. So he's always there, door greeting, right? And 26 years, people are going to recognize you. And if you're familiar with the Grand Floridian, they also have the wedding pavilion there. So a lot of brides come through the main lobby in their dresses, and then he started carrying their trains on their dresses.
And he did over like 3,000
So many.
or
Like,
more than, I think it was actually more than that.
Dang.
and couples would want him in their photos.
They would request him.
And so then he kind of
Wow.
became the unofficial train of dresses conductor. It was so
That's
sweet.
amazing.
That is sweet.
He was also like,
Oh, that
families would go to him because they would go to Walt Disney World every year, and some of the family's kids would consider him like a grandfather, and he would remember a lot of these families and be like, wow, Timmy's growing up. Like they showed pictures with him every year, so it was cool to see how their children grew.
That's awesome.
So yeah, he's one of our favorites at Walt Disney World. But one of our favorites that is no longer with the company was Grandma Pat, who worked at Fantasyland in Disneyland. And this is a cast member, just like Moses, held all the. I mean, she was the key master, I think.
Yeah.
Every single time I went to her, I would start crying.
He's going to start crying
I'm gonna
right
start crying
now.
now. Think about her. She didn't pass away or anything,
No,
but
she retired.
she would make these little packages for kids that had little things of pixie dust, and she would get these glass slippers, and she would bring them in, and she would tell kids, here's a bag, now go out there and make some magic for somebody. It was so dope, so dope.
She was
That's
so
awesome.
sweet.
That's amazing.
Wow.
And she
very
was,
cool.
she was older too. And
Yeah.
to be out there working full time. And then she kind of shared some of her personal life with us too. So hearing all that she's going through at home and caretaking and all of that, and then coming here to Disney and still making a difference and
With
making
positivity.
magic. Yeah, it was just
Like if you ever hear her
Inspiring.
life story, like she's taking care of her husband and her son who were sick, and you're just like, wow, she's sharing this with you, and you're just like, how are you here creating this much magic? And she would make you feel Walt's presence at the park.
Yeah.
She would kind of bag on Walt Disney World, which would be funny. And I always would make fun of AJ about it, but she's like, yeah, Walt, like, close your eyes, hear it. You could feel Walt's presence. Like, Walt's magic is here, and you're part of it. And you would just like, you would feel
Yeah.
it. She was so good. She was
That's
so cool.
amazing.
That's great.
Aw.
We definitely have her in one of our videos there, and you'll probably see me crying there.
Aw.
Well, she's just so cool.
Yeah, I don't blame
I
you.
need a
That-
tissue.
That's awesome.
That's so magical. See, I mean, it's stories like that, that really help kind of remind us about why we love Disneyland. We hear so much of the negativity sometimes from people that have been soured by it or an experience that they've had, but sometimes we forget why it all started. And it's little things like that don't cost any money. It's just an experience that's granted to you, inside or outside of the park, that just, it gives you that warmth and that feeling of happiness inside, right? So, anybody else that you guys can recall, or anybody else that you guys want to just give a quick shout out to for how awesome they are?
I haven't been able to, I've just been here for a few months, so my visits have been infrequent over the past years, to the point where I don't know a lot of cast members by name. I think the more I go, the more I'll start to recognize some cast members. But I do have a couple of instances where a cast member made a difference. One of them was on the Haunted Mansion, and Charlie and I were on it. It was right at the end of the night. And this guy just was totally into it. He was in the stretching room. He was all about the spiel. He was, in character. It was there was a small crowd of us, and he got us all to the center of the room. And he made his little spiel from one side of the room. And then as the room stretched, and then the lights go out at the end, when they came up, when the lights turned back on at the very end of the stretching portion, he was on the other side of the room and scared everybody. And it was just like this cool moment. Like, that was so great. Everybody was just so amazed that he teleported across the room, where, he just walked around, but it was pitch black. You couldn't tell that. So it was just a neat moment, and that was really cool. And then I got to take part in kind of a private dinner at the Napa Rose restaurant inside the Grand Californian, and we had a team of waiters that waited on us, but the head waiter for our party was just exuding Disney customer service and professionalism and everything you love about like fine dining. He was amazing, to the point where at the end of our dinner, our entire party, like, we didn't coordinate it. We just gave him a standing ovation. Like, it just happened, and he was like so touched by it. But he moved our whole party so that when we were done with dinner, we gave him a standing ovation. It was pretty epic. So
Wow.
That's cool.
it's cool to know that there are so many examples of things like that.
That's super cool.
A couple other people I'd like to shout out would be Jim, who he used to be GSO Jim. And he would take, I don't know if you ever saw him, but he would help people take pictures in front of the castle. And you know how phones have a horrible flash, and he'll have that little LED. Yeah, he'll have the
right?
little
Yeah.
LED, and he'll make pictures look so good. And like, everybody loves him. He's such a nice guy, and
That's awesome.
he's just a positive attitude, and we love him. We always see him. We always try to look for him. It's
Yeah.
cool to try to seek certain cast members at certain areas that you're like, okay, I know he's here. We'd love to say hi. As far as security, we love this. One of our friends, Art. He's really
yeah.
cool. He's a school teacher in the daytime, a high school teacher, and then he's security at night. Really positive attitude. It's cool to see all these people at Disney, and you're just like, there's a lot of magic here. And his wife works for
Yeah.
Disney too. She's been with the company for I think like 50 years or something.
No, maybe like 30.
Okay,
It's still a
So
lot.
Still amazing.
Still a long time.
Decades.
Yeah. In Walt Disney World, we have a security guard friend. His name is Brett. And his twin works at Disneyland as a security guard. Okay, they're not twins. Spoiler alert. But they
Oh, I was
look
gonna say, like, literal
so
twin?
similar, and it's like B&B.
Brian and Brett.
Brian and Brett.
Brian at Disneyland and Brett at Disney World.
They're amazing cast members, but oh my gosh, I can never get their names. Yeah.
They're both bees.
Yeah.
Disney doppelgangers.
Yeah.
Seriously,
For
they are
reals.
doppelgangers. Because we even showed Brian, hey, look, this is your brother at Walt Disney World. He's like, oh, yeah, he does look like me.
You know what?
Glasses, hats, everything.
I'm going to show you the photo. I'm going to bring it up. It might take
That's
10
funny.
minutes, but I'm going to show you.
Also, we don't know him personally, but one of our favorite cast members is Dino at Jungle Cruise. And have you ever had Dino as a?
Yeah.
He
Yes,
is.
I recall.
He's one of the best skippers
Yeah.
you'll ever have. Like, you'll be on the floor laughing. Best comedic timing
Yeah.
for Jungle Cruise.
And you
So-
know, we actually probably only had him 2 or 3 times, but that's how memorable he was and is. I hope we can get another ride on the Jungle Cruise with him, because, you know, sometimes you just don't get the right comedic person. You know what I mean? Like, they're just
Right.
or maybe
Yeah.
they're kind
Like,
of
they
like
don't
too
have-
dry.
Yeah.
You
No,
know
I
what
totally
I mean?
feel you. Where you're like, oh, I remember this person. I hope I get to have them as a skipper,
Yeah.
because that's the best part of the ride.
Right?
Yeah.
Or excuse me, the attraction.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
We had to take a picture of him the very first time we met him. We're like, you're so awesome. We want to get you all the time.
That's
Or we
cool.
always ask for him to see if
Nice.
he's working. And then, like, we'll wait for his boat. We're like, and then they'll say, oh, his boat's probably like 6 more boats. We're like, we'll wait. We will wait.
There you
That's
go.
awesome.
And everybody we brought to him, he's like,
Nice.
dude, this guy's really good.
Ernie?
Oh,
Which
Ernie.
security guard,
yes.
Ernie?
Yeah.
Ernie is also one of those people that's super warm and just he walks around during the flag retreat, and when all of the different armed forces are being honored, he served in the military
Right.
as well. And so he's very passionate about
Yeah.
it. He'll walk around, he'll talk to all of the veterans and their families. He'll tell you stories about, meeting Walt and then being around the park very early on. I mean, I don't remember exactly how many years he's been there, but he's been there a really long time as well. But he's also just a super wonderful person to speak to. So if you ever have the chance, go to the flag retreat and you will see Ernie there. like you said, I think there's just so many around the world.
Yeah.
And this is just a couple of parks that we've talked about. I know in Aulani, Auntie and Uncle, right, are two such special cast members that people just always talk about, take photos with. I've never been there. I know you guys have experienced them in Aulani. Can you talk a little bit about that before we move on?
My first experience with Auntie, for those of you who've seen Black Panther. Remember the scene with Killmonger where he says, "Hey, Auntie"? That's the first thing I ever said to her. It's awesome.
We just got to Aulani,
Nice.
our first visit, and we see Auntie, and he's like, "Hey, Auntie."
While I'm holding a gecko that I just caught up in the garden. It was
Did
funny.
she get the reference?
No, I don't think so.
No.
Well,
But it was funny to me.
That's funny.
Yeah, but they're very, very warm. Like that aloha spirit over there.
Yeah.
So good.
Tony, DVC, Papa Glenn.
Papa
Glenn, and
Bobby.
Bobby.
He's in but these
Both
are
in PhotoPass.
Yeah.
Yes, they were amazing. And Ilani, she's a cultural representative at the front desk. She gave us our tour. It was amazing.
Nice.
If you think Disney World or Disneyland has great cast members that really capture that Disney magic, go to Aulani and you will get that plus the aloha spirit, and it's just like your brain like can't handle it. It was amazing.
that's awesome. That's
Let's
awesome.
go back.
Well, if you guys have any cast members that you guys would like to shout out or tell us about that we should definitely try to meet at really any park. I know some of us don't travel very frequently, but at least AJ and VJ can say hi to them. Leave us a comment, join the conversation, Facebook, Instagram, or on Twitter. Just search for Podketeers. You can also leave a comment in the blog post for the episode, podketeers.com/238. And then maybe we'll even mention some of them in an upcoming episode so that we can, start spreading the Disney love and let people know who they should be meeting or trying to get one of these special experiences with if they're able to find them.
You know what? I have one more.
Sure.
Farley.
Yeah.
Farley in
Farley.
Frontierland.
I'm sure we're gonna be forgetting a lot more, but Farley's
It
awesome.
just hit me. I was like, wait.
We even have. I can't
Yeah.
show you. It's on the back of my computer, but we have a sticker.
My kids got stickers, and I don't know what they did with them, but I wanted to keep one of them, and I have no idea what they did with them.
Oh.
They don't understand when you get certain things like that, how special they are. And to them, it's just, I just got another sticker, or I just got another button. But there's all these little experiences that have these little tokens that you can take with you, that not everybody gets. And I think that's one of the really cool parts of having these experiences. And whether it's a video on Instagram or, a video that you show your family about how funny a skipper was or how funny the guy at the tiki room was, these cast members really exude the Disney spirit. And to all of you, that really help plus our experiences at the parks, we just want to say thank you. Thank you for, taking it to that next level and helping us enjoy our time in the park. So, all right, well, before we continue, I don't want to cut into our conversation, but the next time you need to purchase something on Amazon, you can help us out tremendously by starting off at podketeers.com/Amazon. On that page, you'll find a huge Amazon button that will take you to Amazon using our special referral link, and anything you buy may earn us a small commission as a thank you from Amazon for mentioning them on this podcast. To everyone taking a few extra seconds to help us out by starting your purchases at podketeers.com/Amazon, we thank you very much. All right, 2019, guys.
Yeah.
As we move on, 2019 has officially begun, and there's a lot of stuff from Disney coming this year. So we thought we'd talk a little bit about some of the things that we're most excited about this year. And I mean, it could be a film, it could be an experience, it could be something that's happening in the parks. So let's go around here. What's one thing that you guys are excited about this year?
One. Okay.
We'll go round table, so
Okay.
we'll go around a couple times.
I'm excited for Endgame.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Gavin, you got to catch up.
We just watched Infinity War again
I'll
on
get
Netflix, And I was like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to see Endgame.
Yeah.
And it's gonna,
By
because
the
I
way,
know
Gavin, it's on
I'm probably gonna cry.
Netflix.
I'm like, oh my gosh, because I know stuff's gonna happen, but yeah, excited for that one.
Same.
You're gonna cry.
I'm a weeper.
Ain't no shame.
Can I just tell you, I'm not big on the fan theories. Because, quite frankly, I don't want to give in to the fan theories, because sometimes they're right and sometimes they know a lot about what's going on or the storylines and where they pull these additional storylines from. And there was one that somehow, for some reason, I just decided, okay, I'm gonna read this one. And man, it just made a lot of sense to me, and I got a little emotional thinking about it. And the theory is that in Endgame,
Wait, you're gonna tell us?
Captain America.
I don't
yeah,
want
I'm
to know.
gonna tell you.
Take off my
Gavin's
headphones.
just shaking his head.
Right?
I'm dying.
Are you sure?
No, I don't
Okay.
want to know.
I kind of do.
All right,
I want to
fine, I won't
know,
tell
but
you.
how about if it's right? See, that's the thing about these fan theories.
That's
if
the
it's
problem.
right,
That's why I don't like to
But
read the
then
theories. Exactly.
You won't know
That
until
is-
you watch the movie if it's right or if it's wrong.
But see,
I want to
but that's
know.
the thing.
I want to know.
yeah, just say it.
but that's the thing, right? Like if, okay, I mean, all right, everybody that wants to know, raise your hand.
Gavin's like,
Gavin,
he's not even
who
there.
doesn't care?
Yeah, don't
I
consider me
put
an
my hand up.
obstacle, but I'm not going to raise my hand for that.
All right. Okay. All right. So here we go. I'm going to tell you what the theory is. I can't say if this is true or not. It is a fan theory. And like many fan theories, I believe it originated on Reddit. Okay. So I can't vouch for that. All I know is that I ended up reading it on some website. It came up in like my Google News stream or something like that. And the theory is, we've known for months already that Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans, their contracts are ending. And they've officially said, look, we don't know if we're going to continue with Marvel. We don't know if we're going to continue. But there's certain characters that we know live on. And that's because Disney basically told us when they said, hey, by the way, Spider-Man takes place after Endgame.
Right.
Okay, so
And Black
we
Panther
already
2 is
know
being
that a couple
filmed.
of these characters live on.
Right.
Sorry, spoiler alert.
There could be
But-
more prequels.
Far From Home, actually, they said takes place months after Endgame.
Alternate universe.
Exactly. As we learned from Sony, it could also be an alternate universe.
Oh, very true.
So-
I like
okay.
this.
Boom. Mind blown. Okay. So the theory is that because their contracts are ending, that there are some people that aren't going to make it past Endgame. And the theory is that Captain America is going to give his own life so that Tony Stark can live on with Pepper. Because they've been planning like a family. They've been planning to have kids
And he
stuff
was a
like
bad
that,
friend.
And
and he was a bad friend.
I'm still not
I
over
second
it.
that one.
and she was Team
I
Why?
Guys.
What
second that one.
happened?
High five, AJ. High five. I second that one. So, I mean, take it for what it's worth. Again, I don't know where it originated. Most of these fan theories do originate on Reddit, but so far that's been one of the only ones that I've read that I just thought, oh my god, it's possibly true. Oh my god. So, yeah,
They're gonna
Endgame.
live
That's a
in
good one
with
to be
their-
excited about.
All their iron suits and one big happy family.
I love it. I want one so bad. Gavin, get that 3D printing going.
All right, we'll see what we can do.
6,294 pieces later,
Exactly.
they all snap together. Melissa.
The D23 Expo.
That's what I was gonna
Yes,
say.
yes.
Because I missed the last
Yes.
one.
Yeah.
So
You
I am
one.
coming back
doing round two.
full force for this one. And I'm going to dress up, but I'm not saying what. But I'm excited because it's like Halloween.
Ooh.
So,
Nice.
yeah.
That's at the top of my list, too. Gavin, what about you?
I'm super excited about the expo, but it doesn't quite top my list because the expo comes around every other year. Something that has only happened a couple of times in history is happening this year. Disneyland is getting a whole new land. This gets me more excited
That's
than
true.
anything. So for me, Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, aka Star Wars Land, is at the top of my list. I cannot wait to explore it, to look at every nook and cranny and just absorb all of that Imagineered magic.
The smells.
Everything. It's going to be so great. You know, exploring Batu and the Black Spire outpost, all the shops and the cantina, and just all the characters that are going to be around. And, you know, there's going to be interactivity through the Disneyland app. And then you got those 2 e-ticket attractions. You know, the Millennium Falcon is the most famous ship in the galaxy. We get a chance to board it and have an effect on its mission. It's so exciting. And then the fact that on the Disney Parks website, this is the quote about Star Wars Rise of the Resistance, the other attraction. They say, quote, "It's the biggest and most immersive Disney Parks attraction ever." That gets me excited.
Yeah.
And that's
And
saying
we get
something,
it.
because there are some big, epic, immersive attractions, and this one is going to be the new bar, and I cannot wait. And I know the
Well, you're
crowds are
gonna
going to be
wait.
insane.
It's gonna be like 5 to 7 days before
Right?
you
Yeah.
It's all good.
Yeah. Well,
5 to 7 business
I'm
days.
going to be there.
Business days.
Exactly.
What's the wait time right now? 5 to 7 hours.
Business
Days.
days.
Business days.
That's funny. So it skips a whole weekend.
Especially holiday
9
ones too.
working days. Yeah, exploring Galaxy's Edge, I think, is certainly
I'm so
going to be
excited for
quite
that.
the experience. The wait times, not so much. I think nobody wants any part of that. But
Sure.
as weird as it sounds, I that is pretty much at the top of my list. Some of these I can't number. I know that goes against everything Gavin believes in, but I can't really number because I think I'm equally excited for even news about what's coming to the Marvel themed area. And I think because we're getting the expo this year, a lot of that news is going to be at the expo.
Oh, yes.
I'm also excited to see who's going to get a Disney Legend Award this year.
Yes.
You know, that's one of my favorite things at every D23 Expo. And sometimes I think that it's great to see them getting an award, and others I think to myself, what? Why? But that's just me.
Any predictions this year?
Yeah. What are your predictions?
Or should we talk about that on another podcast?
Yes.
Yeah, I think we should
Yes.
have a podcast where we dedicate a segment to who we think is going to get a
Disney
Disney
Legend.
Legend Award. So, to be continued. Stay tuned for an upcoming episode of Podketeers, where we talk about who we think is going to get a Disney Legend Award. But yeah, the Disney Legend ceremony is certainly one of my favorite things that happens. And then just the news on the Marvel stuff that's coming to the parks. Because now that Disney owns Fox, well, not completely, but I mean, they're on the road to completely owning Fox. The fact that those properties are coming back into Marvel's hands, you know, it's super exciting to see that we may finally get some good Fantastic Four and X-Men movies.
Agreed. Much agreed.
Wow.
Well, there's another theory. Wolverine is going to be in an Endgame, but
I know.
Anyway,
I
moving
know.
on, moving
That's
on, moving
super
on.
cool.
That would be cool. As long as it's Hugh Jackman.
it is.
I'm
It's
okay.
supposed to be Hugh Jackman.
Yes.
That's I know.
If you look up Hugh
Super
Jackman's
cool.
Wikipedia, Endgame is in the movies.
No, it's not.
Do it. Google,
Wow.
I mean,
Google
look.
it.
Yeah.
Let
Look,
me
I mean,
read
it's
out
not
all
like
the release
anybody
this
can just
weekend.
go in and edit Wikipedia.
Well,
I meant, but
wait, Hugh Jackman.
moving on, moving
No,
on.
literally, anybody can go in and edit Wikipedia.
That's very true.
Yeah,
No,
it's-
but wasn't it on
it's
IMDb?
movie. Oh yeah, it's one of those.
Yeah, IMDb.
Then it's real.
Well, somebody has to edit it,
Unless the person editing IMDb saw it on Wikipedia.
so it must be true.
All right, AJ, what about you?
Everything.
Nice.
I'm with you on that one. It's hard to choose.
So I thought we were only sharing one.
No, we were one at a time. We're round table.
Hazen just said
Yes.
50.
No, I agreed with Gavin, and then I said
It's okay. I do it all the time with you guys.
that's okay. So what we're here
Like,
for.
wait a second. Okay.
I'm surprised I was that restrained.
Let's see. Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway.
Mickey's first ride.
Yes,
Yeah.
Mickey's first
I like it.
attraction with Minnie. So this is really exciting. We really loved what was in its place before.
That great movie
The
ride.
great movie ride.
Great movie, right?
Something great. I'm just kidding.
It was
movie
pretty
ride.
great. It just nostalgic to go on that attraction. And so it was sad to see it go because it's such a huge footprint, that attraction.
Yeah.
So to see Mickey and Minnie in their own first ever attraction is going to be really cool. Now we just need to plan a trip out there for 2019. It's coming out later this year, right?
Yeah.
It comes out this year, and then I think here it comes out in 2020.
That's
Is that
crazy.
right?
Where?
Yeah.
It's in the north end of
Toontown.
Toontown.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's taking over I think it's the entertainment.
Yeah, it's the building with the
Apartment building?
floats behind Toontown.
Oh,
Yeah, the theory is that the gag factory is going to become the queue area.
that's going to be so
Yeah.
cool.
Oh, it's
I'm
going to be
so
awesome.
excited
I can't
for
wait.
new attractions for Disneyland.
Yeah.
It's so crazy. So good.
All right. Anybody else want to share other ones that they're super excited about this year?
Me.
All right.
Mansion's 50th.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yes.
All the stuff we're going to like go broke over.
Oh,
Yeah.
shoot.
Don't remind me.
Hey, with the new prices, maybe you won't. Like, not so many people buying it, so you don't have to buy it on eBay.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And
And one per person.
since those passes are getting taken away, there's going to be plenty for everybody.
There you go.
Yeah, what's cool about that anniversary is that more so than most other anniversaries, like, the Pirates of the Caribbean anniversary was just 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But with Haunted Mansion, they're going to have a ton more merchandise because that's a much more merchandise heavy kind of attraction, right? So there's going to be tons of 50th anniversary stuff come out, I'm sure.
Can they just have their own store already?
I know.
Like they do
Right?
in Florida.
What was it, Memento Mori?
I would
Yeah.
love that.
Like, which one would you
they
take
need
out
to.
of New Orleans? The one
They should
with the
put it-
luggage that's stuck on the ceiling? That room?
Le Baton Rouge.
Yeah.
The
Le
dress
Baton
shop?
Rouge. That's the one I think. Le Baton Rouge because it's so cool. It's in that corner
Yeah.
and it's kind of creepy and
Yeah.
it used to have Halloween stuff in it, and now
Well,
it's the dress shop.
Yeah.
But is it too far from Haunted Mansion to be
No.
can't...
We'll still
Still on
travel
the
to
land.
I don't think so.
I mean, you can't really have one that close to it.
Yeah, there's
I mean-
nowhere to put it
How about if they...
because the only physical structure is Harbor Galley.
How about the
Yeah.
secret pet cemetery? Just level that out and put a store there.
No.
Nobody
I
uses
don't
it.
think the secret pet
But
cemetery
still.
exists anymore.
No, it still does, because our friend Carlos showed us. It's still there.
Where is
Okay.
it? Tell
It's
me
a
about
secret,
this
Gavin.
It's on the side of the mansion.
Well, let's open the secret.
So before you're getting
on
into...
which side of
it's
the
on
mansion?
the very right side.
The right side.
So
Yeah.
before where you're queuing up to go into the elevator, it's...
Uh-huh.
Do you ever see that one door right before that elevator on the right side? There's a door. So that's like a little
Uh-huh.
entrance that cast members use, but there's a secret pet cemetery there.
It's right
Like-
next to the wheelchair access ramp.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's very
I'll
small.
have to check that out next time.
Yeah,
I'm
there's
there.
like 5 or 6 epitaphs for pets
Right.
there.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
Nice.
I mean, it's cool. I thought I had pictures of it at one point. I'd have to look through my archive, but I thought
sure
I had
you do.
pictures of it.
Yeah, you got
Yeah.
to. I mean,
I thought I had pictures of it because it was easier to gain access to it before.
Yeah.
It was easier to just ask a cast member if you could just quickly go and get a picture or something. But now I think it's a little more restricted because it's literally just cast members can go in through that area. And so if you ask, they tell you that you can't really go through there anymore.
Because it's like, I think something happened with their walkway, so they don't want to make
Yeah.
make sure nobody trips or something. But it's still there.
Yeah,
It's still
so-
there.
Okay, well, that's good to know. Because that's one of those cool little Easter eggs that you just don't want to go away, right?
Yeah.
right.
Like the key at Muppets Theater. I wish that was still there.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Oh,
It
yeah.
doesn't make any sense now because it's not.
I know, but still.
Muppets.
Yeah,
Still
like
wish
a
it was
little
there.
Calls
Easter
of the
egg.
past.
Wait,
Cool
isn't the
Easter
one
egg.
still in Walt Disney World?
I don't know.
Yeah, we'll have to check that out. They're always changing
More-
Right.
things.
You
Like,
have
Yeah.
another reason to go back.
yeah.
Yeah. But we're digressing here. Let's go back to
Okay,
things we're
sorry,
excited about
sorry.
in
Focus,
2019. Yeah. Who else has something that they want to share?
I mean, we're getting 2 new animated films this year, which I have a level of excitement for. It's not the very top level of excitement because they're both sequels, but I always do love going back to the toys from Toy Story. They're such a great group of characters. I know that it's going to be an entertaining film. So I'm really excited about Toy Story 4. I'm also probably one of the few people that is actually pretty excited for Frozen 2. I'm actually pretty fascinated to see where in the world they're going to go with the story and how in the world they're going to pull off creating songs that are even half as good as the songs in the first movie. So I'm looking forward to that. It's a long ways down the road. It's at the end of November that it comes out, but those would probably be my top two movie excitement items. And then I guess I'm excited for episode 9 of Star Wars. I can't decide how excited I am about that. So I'm more excited about Star Wars Land than I am Star Wars the movie, which is weird because that's what Star Wars is. It's movies. But, Star Wars has kind of landed themselves in this weird spot. And I don't really know how I feel about everything right now. And a lot of Star Wars fans are in that same place. So I'm not alone there.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
So 2 other things that I'm excited about this year that I don't think people are chomping at the bit for this to open, but I want to see Pixar Pier closer to completion. And I'm really excited about Jesse's Critter Carousel and Inside Out's Emotional Whirlwind opening up this year, because I think it's going to bring more cohesiveness to that area that we were missing when it originally launched. And I think because it launched with the anticipation of just getting the Incredicoaster out there because of The Incredibles 2, it just feels incomplete right now. So having those additional attractions, having those walls down, I think is going to be huge for that area. It's going to feel really more complete, and then see what else comes to the area as well.
I thought you were going to be more excited for Ballast Point to open in the next couple of weeks.
Oh, yes.
Don't worry about it. I'm getting there.
Oh, okay.
Making my way through the resort, buddy.
Knows how to spoil.
Nice.
I was actually going to say, I think I'm excited. I'm hesitant and excited to see how Will Smith is going to be Genie.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm curious.
Are we going to get Fresh Prince? Are we going to get something like Rob? I don't know. It's just anticipation.
Are we going to get Hitch?
Oof.
I know.
Yeah. I mean, that's one thing we talked about in the last episode with
Time will
Skylar,
tell.
right? When we were doing the movie preview. I remember asking that question, and if he does do a Fresh Prince Genie, how would you feel about it? Because you don't want him to try to be Robin Williams, because you want him to bring his own take. And this is where there's this huge clash in my brain, right? Because you don't want the Genie to be like Robin Williams, but I wanted Emily Blunt to be like Julie Andrews. You know what I mean? There's this huge clash in my brain that does not compute. So, I mean, how would you feel if he does turn out to be like Fresh Prince Genie?
Then it would be like the Sinbad Genie movie that never existed, but does exist. I'm just kidding. No, but no, I think Will Smith. I love Will Smith. I mean, love his YouTube. I love his Instagram. I think he's gonna do a fresh take on it.
But
But yeah, because I don't think he's really gonna try to touch Robin Williams anything, because there's no way. That's
And he wouldn't win anyway. And I think anyone that would play the Genie kind of knows that. You can't be.
Yeah, that's big shoes.
You can't be him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You can't redo what's already been done.
Yeah.
Just watch Aladdin 2 and you'll see what I mean.
That's very true. That's very true.
Oh.
Source subject. Do you know what we're talking about?
No. I didn't see Aladdin.
I'll tell you later.
I didn't see those. I didn't get those
fill it in
VHS
later.
tapes.
Yeah, I'll tell you later.
I just know in the animation series, Iago starts hanging out with everybody. It's when did this happen? But anyway.
That's about the time he got
yeah, that was weird.
sequestered at the Tiki Room, and then he ruined that attraction at Disney World. So there was also that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was in, it was Tiki Room under new management.
It was horrible.
Oh my gosh.
It was
really.
absolutely horrible.
It was gone by the time you went for your first visit.
Well, I guess that's a good thing.
Watch videos on YouTube. You'll understand.
Indeed.
Yeah. You catch it on the
So,
YouTube.
question: are we excited for Mickey's Mixed Magic?
Yeah.
It's coming out?
I am.
What is that?
This month?
I'm just
It's
kidding.
the new nighttime show at Disneyland for the Get Your Ears On
Yeah.
celebration.
Oh, that's right.
I mean, if the song that we previewed in the last episode happens to be the song, again, I can neither confirm nor deny the presence of a human child in Monstropolis at this time. But if it does turn out to be the case, I think it's a super catchy tune. I think it's going to do great. Having Mickey at the helm of this DJ nighttime party, I think it's going to be really fun. And I'm excited to see the cool new laser effects and stuff that they're supposed to be bringing to this show.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be there.
Yep, we will.
When is it debut?
I want to say the 18th.
Yeah, January 18th. It is a Friday, and so I'm hoping we can make it down to the park for that.
Or we could see it on Thursday, the night before.
Preview it,
Preview?
yeah. That would be nice.
I mean, they always do previews the day before, right?
I mean, we can't say that with any certainty, but... All right, well, if there's anything that you guys are looking forward to in 2019, let us know in the comment section of the blog post, podketeers.com/238, or hit us up on social media. We're on Instagram, Facebook, or on Twitter. We're just search for Podketeers, PODKETEERS. We'd love to know some of the things that you guys are excited about, what's coming to the Disney parks, any films, any attractions. Maybe you're just excited about the news that's coming at the expo. Maybe you're excited about the expo. Maybe you're just excited about going back and having a churro. Or maybe having a friend buy a turkey leg and say, I don't like this, I'm just going to give you my turkey leg. I mean, it could...
That's right.
it's so many things. Look, preemptively, I'm just saying,
it's turkey
I am hopefully saying that what I'm looking forward to in 2019, and I'm just putting this out in the universe because I hope the universe listens and makes this happen for me. In 2019, I'm looking forward to touring the Walt Disney Studios. Okay? And I'm saying that with no certainty at all that it's happening. I'm just saying, if I put it out there, I hope the universe listens, and I hope I get a chance to do it. So in 2019, I'm looking forward to touring the Walt Disney Studios. So there you go. I'm just putting it out there. Universe, please listen. When you wish upon a star, makes no difference who you are. All right. Before we wrap up the episode, guys, I need food. I'm going delirious. All right. Is there anything else you guys want to throw out there before we close out the episode?
Nope.
He's lost it, people.
I know, for real. I'm at
Hangry.
that point that I think I'm like super hungry. What is it? I know when you're angry and
Yeah.
you're hungry, you're
I was just
hangry.
thinking that.
But when you're delirious and you're happy and you're hungry, are you hapgry?
Delirious
Maybe you're
happery.
I was going to say something else that's not appropriate for the podcast, but yeah. Sounds like you're hanging out with
You're-
Snoop Dogg,
Alright.
but
Oh man. Okay.
Well-
This has to end. I gotta go eat. I think we're done for the evening. So that's it, everybody. Thank you for joining us again. Remember that if you guys want to join the conversation, hit us up on social media. And until next week, keep dreaming, keep moving forward, and always remember to pass along the magic.
Made you look.
Aw.
Bye.
See ya.
Stop laughing. Please. So I turned away.